Greetings folks, in preparation for the next patch later this month, hopefully. Here is my updated two-handed warrior build, but before we begin let me ask you, what is your most embarrassing gaming moment? Well, for mine, or at least the only one I can remember because I have selective memory about my numerous humiliation, happened when I met a Japanese ogre.
お前はもう死んでいる。何？
Well, in hindsight, this was a brilliant idea. I can trick the ogre on a web of lies and profit from the reckless capitalism of the ginger merchant in the keep by leading the ogre around like a gamer girl, messaging 8 different guys at the same time just to keep her option open. Until, well, the ogre decided to keep my option open to reloading. Emperor Hirohito would have been proud of you, ogre Onichan. So, real talk, this build has been a great improvement compared to the last one, because this build has been fully built around heavy attack, using our anchor, which is actually an axe, not an hammer, much to my surprise, the Sarras Warrior 3, but more importantly we managed to work around the fact that heavy attack costs a lot of stamina thanks to stamina cost reduction rings. You can really use any weapon you want on this build, as long as your stats are in order, it's gonna be fine and dandy. As usual for all my builds, I will go through all the gear necessary, how to get it, alternative options, skills and attributes order during leveling, and of course all the relevant information. Let's begin! Okay, for this video, let's try something different. If you dislike the way that I'm showing here, and you instead want the old, boring panel, let me know in the comments below, and I will adapt based on feedback. First of all, weapon. We're gonna use Anchor. Anchor is a great axe that will come from the Sanctuary of Sarras DLC. It brings many advantages, a very good flat base damage, and our heavy attacks will do 100% extra damage. You literally cannot miss this item because it comes from a mini boss that is part of the questline. Naturally, before we get to this weapon, we have many options. We can use Big Bonk from Act 1, which I showcased in my video, and you can use that for the entire game if you like the explosion. The AoE size is not immensely huge, but it's still quite useful, and the flat damage of the weapon is good as well. In alternative, you can also use Tigwe's axe from the main quest in the Stone Warden village. This one features higher base damage, and it's really strong. In alternative, also the Drasmus Lance that I featured in my previous Lancer builds is completely usable on this setup as well, and also has very good damage. During leveling, you can easily use some of the bounties items, the Giant Sword, the Bone Mace. Those are all weapons that you can collect, and you should collect during your leveling section. For relics on weapon, I suggest either you get a couple of melee relics from the Blacksmith questline, or Starborn eggs if you want to use status effect relics. You can also do that, it's mainly up to you. For our helmet, we're gonna use Crystal Walker from Act 3. It will convert our endurance in physical damage, and it's really a quite good helmet overall. Plus, the existence of this helmet makes strength even weaker in the current meta game, so I really hope that we get some strength items in the future, because otherwise, well, endurance is just so much better. In alternative, you can use Lancelot, you can use any sort of helm that gives you damage. You can use Sir Gawain from Act 2. If you need critical strike, that is also an option when you are at lower level. For our back item, we're gonna use Ashen Veil. Ashen Veil comes from Act 3. Location is here. You need to finish the main quest in Act 3 and then you can go in the crypt. Ashen Veil will give us a lot of good stats and a little bit of crit. In alternative, of course, and before that, you will use for most of the game Duel Knight Cape from Abigor in Act 1. Location is here. In alternative, you can also make yourself a Winged Cavalier backplate. This one will help you a little bit with crit. Location is here. You need to do a quest to get the recipe as a reward. There is also Barrower that you can also craft as an option, but I feel that Ashen Veil is just better. For our chest, we're gonna use Undertow Bloom Vest. Yes, even though we are not a sneak build, we still put a lot of points in perception. Undertow Bloom Vest is currently the strongest chest in the game, I am not kidding. Pretty much every point that we put in perception to our build will give us even more critical damage. After all, 1 point of perception is equal to 1 critical chance, 5% critical damage, and 8% sneak damage with this little chest here. We will get an extra 4% critical damage. In alternative, because of course we do have alternatives, you can use Lancelot. For pants, the best pants that you can use for a pure warrior are Crystal Walker. Nothing really comes close. The only downside of Crystal Walker Greaves is that you will lose a little bit of mobility. In alternative, of course, if you're like, well, Pasta, I like to dash. I don't want to feel restricted. I need to escape. I need to move. Well, don't worry, Mr. Darude Sandstorm. There is still hope for you. Lancelot is an option. Ashen Veil Pants is an option as well, thanks to Undertow Bloom Vest. You can use also Volker's Warborn from Act 3. For boots, if we don't use Crystal Walker, we're gonna be low on crit, so we have to use Crystal Walker. Before you get Crystal Walker, of course, as I said before, you can use Lancelot, you can use Duel Knight, you can craft yourself Ravenous. It's mainly up to you what you want to use. For gloves, we're gonna use Champion of Tuatan, which sadly it's only a little better than Duel Knight gloves from Abigor. So realistically, you can easily just use Duel Knight gloves, especially they will help a little bit with stamina. Also, a small note in case you're new: decreased incoming healing doesn't affect our life leech. So keeping yourself at full health with Champion of Tuatan is really easy. But to get Champion of Tuatan, you will need to kill the Stalker, which, depending on the difficulty you're playing, can be really hard in Act 1 and 2 in Veteran. For Amulet, there is only one Amulet that I'm gonna suggest. Well, actually I lied, there are two, but still. Amulet of the Fearful Man is a good option. It will also make sneaking a little faster. However, of course, if you're not using the Underbloom chest, it's useless to you. In alternative, use Amulet of the Novice Ogre Hunter from the fat guy in the Stronghold, which you can find located here. Which one is better, Pasta? Well, both are good. I would say that I like Fearful Man a little better on this setup. For our rings, while you level up, you have many options. Yes, you can use Perilous Orbs, but however, on this build, we need desperately stamina. So you can use the Athlete Ring, you can use the Fisherman Ring, you can use the Camelot Ring. All these rings come from Act 1. You can use Arthur Seals. Of course, when you're lower level, flat stamina is gonna be a little better than percentage stamina. When you are higher level and you have a higher stamina pool, percentage is better. Final suggestion are two. One is Langford Ring. This one comes from Act 2. You need to do a small mini quest for this. I will go through it during the item section in the timestamp later in the video. There is also the Giant Bone Ring, however the reduction in stamina cost is gonna be lower, and this one comes from Sarras. However, after playing around, I would suggest probably a stamina ring together with Langford. Now, let's go through the attributes, then the skill section, and then the Sarras tree. Okay, let's look at our attributes. This build is fairly simple. We will meet our minimum requirement, which are gonna be 15 strength. If you are planning to use another weapon with more strength, you can go up to 20. I don't suggest going more than that. Endurance minimum requirement, well, there is not gonna be a minimum requirement because we want a lot of endurance. Now, of course, if you want more damage or you feel that you want to completely remove sources of critical strike from gear, you can invest more points in perception. 6 dexterity is the minimum requirement. However, during leveling, I had 8 points because that is the minimum requirement for Lancelot. So I did use a potion of origin. During leveling, put 8. No spirituality, and you can afford some points in practicality in this build. It will actually help out with stamina management. So if you want to do that, if you want to put 10 to 15 points of practicality, perception, there is a minimum requirement of 10 points for this build. I will highly suggest you to get more. Okay, Pasta, whatever, but how do I put points in this build? Okay, let's quickly allocate points so everyone is happy. Also, I have now a playlist on my channel with some guides. So if you want to get more extra points in your playthrough, there are a lot of consumable items that will give you extra skill points, extra specific points, and all that stuff. Okay, we start with 13 points in strength. So you can use Big Bonk, but Pasta, I want to use armor first. With this setup, you can immediately use Big Bonk and all the two-headed weapon that have high strength requirement. Otherwise, you will have to use some random trash from the bandit, or the Swain's axe from the shore, or if you kill Karadok the wolf's owl. If you don't want to start with 13 points in strength, you want a more balanced start, so you can use Knight Armor, Duel Knight, all that stuff. 6 and 6. As I said, this is a personal choice. You can put points whatever. Just my advice for leveling. Afterwards, 13, then 10, then 15, then 15. And here, if you're planning to use pieces of Lancelot so you're not crafting outer gear, then 8 points in dexterity. And like this, your Act 2 is gonna be so super comfortable. You can use all the gear that I suggested. Afterwards, of course, 10 points in perception. Then endurance dumping is not especially needed until you get your crystal helmet. So prioritize perception, try to get 80 to 100% critical chance. As I said earlier, there are a lot of items that will give you bonus critical chance. Now, let's look at the skill tree. Okay, very easy, very fast. This is a no-brainer. We are starting as a melee build. Godly Physique, maxed. Weapon of the Great Theft. Then we're going to add Practicality. Born in Armor, Inner Strength. Then we're going Strength, in two-handed, Brutish Fighter, Unstoppable Force, Fury without Fatigue. Then we're going Practicality, Max Born in Armor, Armored Skin, the Best Offense. Then we go in Endurance, 1 point in Frequent Exercise, 1 point in Gaining Momentum, back into the fray, 3 points in Mighty Blow, Enduring Strike, because we go Life Leech, 1 point in Unstoppable Impact, Dominating Presence, Perpetual Swings. We go in Perception, Extra Lucky Maxed, Critical Cascade, Go for the Eyes, 3 points in Respite in Cruelty, 2 points in Deep Wounds, 2 points in Critical Aegis, 2 points in Bloodthirst. As soon as you lock Red Death in Act 2, the quest starts in the hospital. Plague Warden is amazing, okay? Best mitigation that you can get in Act 2. 2 points in Executioner, Crushing Blow, Giant Grace, 3 points in Increased Vitality, in Practicality, 1 point in Healthy Appetite, Rejuvenation, Old Mother, Unnatural Resilience, Exploitation of Affliction. Then we shop for the Red Death 3, like any respectable build would. Now, of course, really, because this is quality of life, you can afford to put 5 points in Mercantile whenever you want, depending on the difficulty. It will cost you damage, but it's gold. So never sell stuff without having Mercantile on, really. It's the difference between being broke or not. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. Then we go in Perception, 1 point in Silent Hunter, 2 points in Assassin Doctrine because we convert this in damage. We're going to also put 1 point in Cheat Death to help us survive. In Dexterity, max Quickened Strikes, max Onslaught. Remaining points are up to you. We are super high level. Do you want to add Slow Motion with Temporal Sleep? Yes, you can do that. Sprint and then you crouch, and then it's gonna be fine. Do you want to add some extra HP with Invigorating Energy? It's not gonna be a lot because we don't have a lot of mana. You can go Mana Battery and Invigorating Energy. All these are all things you can do. 2 points in Swift and Fierce as well for commodity, and there you have it. Want to craft? Put points here, up to you. Now, let's look at the Sarras tree. Okay, for this build, we're gonna play Warrior for the Sarras Perks. Can get up to 7 Sarras Perks for playthrough. In my video guides, I have all the Sarras Shrines plus the last hidden point. First point, Strength in Number. Menace of the Wary, which is amazing, of course. And then the Heaviest of Attacks. This is why you see some clips where I hold. If you have no interest in playing as a heavy attack, then you can skip the heaviest of attacks, and then you go for Vicious Gamble. Desire for Speed, use the Full Overload, which is extra damage, Kickstart, the same reason as Heaviest of Attacks, Endurance Fighter, and that's my suggestion for you. Now let's look at the best start, leveling wise, and then the location of all the gear. For this build, you can choose to skip the tutorial or play it. The only difference is gonna be a little bit of XP and some optional items that we are gonna replace soon anyway. Don't forget to get the HP statuette. You can also grab some food, some recipe while you're in prison. Don't forget to get the pickaxe, because if you're planning to kill a couple of the enemies that are quite tough, we're gonna need to get the blood transfusion scroll from the side room here. Don't forget to get a potion of origin. If you want some extra XP, you can go in and kill all the prisoners. That is up to you. It's not a lot, but still, it's some XP. Now, if you want, you can kill this barbarian. It will drop an armor that is quite decent, but gets outclassed pretty soon. So the main advice is for XP. As the current state, it doesn't serve a lot of purpose in the story. This could change in the future by the time you're seeing this video. Get the HP ring. We need the athlete ring from the monk.
Sacrifice to the...
You can also get a mana ring if you want. This one is completely optional by trading up health potion with the lady. Pasta, can I kill her? She's very hard to kill. I would argue that she is harder to kill than any other NPC in the tutorial, because she just casts fireballs and she never stops. From the perspective that you're seeing here, I am behind the island. When you come out of the island, you turn around and then you circle back, and you need to come here and you get an optional ring that is for archers. But regardless of that, here you can get a warrior amulet. We don't have a lot of decent warrior amulet early on. Even 1 point of damage is still better than nothing. Now, if you want to kill our tutorial as Mongol, if you don't understand what I'm saying, after you will strip him naked, check under the helmet, and you will find the brightest shining ball of Fall of Avalon. Now, this guy is scary, so you need to stay melee with him, because otherwise he will switch to bow or use magic and kill you. So what you want to do is you want to juggle him on the boat. This might require some tries, but it's really not that complicated once you have some familiarity. And yes, this is on current patch, so as of now, you can still do this. Okay, how do we level up this thing? First of all, get the recipe from the shore, get the tag for the guy in the keep. Afterward, we want to go a little to the left, and we want to get a starborn egg that you can start to use for the rest of the game if you want. Then we're gonna meet again the guy that doesn't know how to take a hint. There are 3 ways to kill him. You can kill him later, you can get him stuck, you can come here later, as long as you don't finish the main story. The sword that he drops is really good.
A good strike. Don't resist, and you might just survive.
Don't forget to do all the druid shrines. Here you can get the Swain Battle Axe. This one is gonna be better than the Wolf's All. If you want to use the other one, it's up to you. Now let's talk about weapons because, well, Knight Armor drops from Bandit, so you're gonna get it fast anyway. And Revenant, if you want to craft it, it's mainly up to you. Do the Blacksmith in the Keep quest line and he will teach you all the recipes. First bounty of importance is gonna be Rusty. Rusty is really not that hard to kill. If you want to make your life easy, you can pull the mobs, kill them, and then reset the encounter, so you don't have to fight 10 people at the same time. Or if you're a Giga Chad, you can go and do it. The Bone Club, or Bone Mace, whatever is the name. Yes, I have hundreds and hundreds of hours of this game and I still misspell the items. I'm amazing. It's an upgrade for you, and it's gonna last you for half of Act 1 at least until you go, and you can use the Giant Sword, which is gonna be our next step. This enemy in Veteran is slightly harder, and more importantly, his move pattern is a bit weird, but it's not that weird that is impossible to kill, as you can see here. Just make sure that you have mobility. That one is gonna be important for these fights.
You're no match for our band.
And then you get your big bonk here, and then the leveling section is officially concluded. Go, spread your wings, conquer the world, make me proud.
We have company.
Welcome to sit. But never mind. Go on.
And he blamed for their own. But whatever you did, I've packed. I fulfilled. Perhaps you're right. The Langford. Listen, in the library, behind the portrait, inside is the true family ledger, not the lies. The Langfords weren't always what he.
This in you. 27 souls. Every single one. Very well. Thank you, stranger. I need to find my servant. To Apollo. Here, take this.
And that's it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and maybe consider even subscribing for more content of questionable and diverse quality. If you have any question or doubts, let me know in the comments. I will try my best to come back at you. And have fun playing Tainted Grail, and I will see you in the next video.